Hey, Nori.
Love you too.
This is amazing.
All right, we're
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Welcome to Ask a Yogi, a show where we answer your burning questions about yoga, meditation, and of course, the Kundalini. Be sure to stick around until the end because we'll talk about 3 simple ways to know if your Kundalini is
Hello,
rising.
everyone. Thank you
I
so
am your
much
host,
for tuning in today.
Maribel Ordono. I am a
Ask
teacher
a Yogi.
here for YogaVision. And of course, I'm here to introduce the one, the only Salimah Kassim-Lakha. She is a Kundalini specialist and a master yoga teacher trainer. Hi, Salima.
Hi, Nori.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for that beautiful intro. I'm excited to be here with you today and excited to hear from everybody out there. We've been on YouTube for a long time, and by circumstance and really good timing, all of our opportunities are now here with you guys. So thank you for that, and thank you for hosting.
Of course. So let's get started. Who are you? Tell us about yourself and how did you get started in your yoga practice?
Okay, I guess you're asking about what we can't see on camera and what's happening in the background. So my yoga journey started 15 years ago, and it was an experience in my life where I was sitting on the couch smoking cigarettes. Yes, I did that. And I said to myself, to my highest self, if I don't do something different, I'm never going to reach my potential. And it was a matter of minutes after that where one of my yoga teachers invited me to think about teacher training. And my zigzag in all of that was to pursue Kundalini yoga teacher training. And to be honest, I tuned in for the first time, Om Namo, Guru Dev Namo. I tuned in for the first time and I have never looked back. In other words, I've had a steady daily practice since then. And really speaking, without that practice, we wouldn't be here right now.
Mhm.
And that's the beauty of it, is it's taken me on a wild ride through owning a studio, becoming a mom, being married, and doing all of that kind of stuff that I didn't really picture for myself, but clearly has been in my highest and best interest. So Kundalini Yoga, I consider to be a really good friend of mine. And it is a friend that's introduced me to many, many more people. And it's been very exciting to connect with people all over the world. This is, this is an opportunity that I've been waiting for, I have to say. So
Yeah, what year was that when you started?
oh man, don't make me do the math. 2005, simple math,
2005.
2005.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I found you on Skype
Yes,
before YogaVision opened up in Mississauga, your home studio.
yes. Yes, Nori, you've been one of my youngest and long-standing students. And I think we met when you were 16 or 17.
I think 17 or 18.
Yeah,
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 2013 or so.
right. So just as I was putting the technology of yoga together with the technology of what the internet was doing, and these kind of group calls and YouTube and all of that kind of stuff, that was all coming together at that time. My first Kundalini yoga video on YouTube was in 2009.
Wow.
So just in and around that time. And so we've been here for 10 years. And in the last few months, as a result of COVID, we have been able to flourish. And I'm very excited about the direction we're going to take next.
So you're YouTube native.
Yeah, you would say.
So tell me a little bit more about YogaVision. What is the vision of YogaVision? And a little bit about the other teachers.
Ah, okay. So YogaVision, thank you for all finding us first and foremost. The vision of YogaVision is to make yoga accessible. And it's yoga for all ages and stages of life, in particular Kundalini yoga. So the idea of this is that yoga is diverse. It's diverse as all of us. It is an opportunity to connect in a way that's meaningful, to have your identity reflected, and an opportunity for yoga to become part of regular language. So what you're seeing here on the screen between Nori and I and all the other teachers is a lot of diversity in terms of life stages, a lot of diversity in terms of cultural backgrounds, and an opportunity to see and experience Kundalini yoga a little bit differently. We have been going through a very narrow track with Kundalini yoga up until very recently. And now we're starting to soften some of the boundaries and really take what's best in all of the yoga practices and start to fuse them together. So that's what you're going to see over the next few months as we evolve our practice, our conversations get a little deeper, and we all get to know each other better. So we'd love to hear your comments below. Which teachers are you following? Which ones are you connecting with? What practices are you enjoying? And then watch how we bring all of that together.
So I hear you mentioning modifications. We do have a question in the chat from Catherine asking about a modification for chaturanga. This is something that I do teach in my Kundalini flow. So I can answer that if that's all right. One that you can do, if don't have to do it with full plank, you can have your knees rested on top of your mat so that you're in kneeling plank. And also if you have shorter arms, some people put blocks right underneath their hands just for extra leverage and support there. So there's not too many modifications that I know of other than going onto your knees. And if that doesn't work for you, then that's okay. Just go right onto your belly. You don't have to hold the plank and slowly lower.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would add one more piece is to go down maybe halfway so that you're starting to build your body, build your resilience, rather than to feel compelled to go with where the teacher is going. Every one of us has a different body, and that's part of our approach too, is that every body is unique and every body moves differently. Mm-hmm. And so that's the realm of opportunity that we have now.
Oh, and each day is different too. So some days I have a little twinge in my shoulder and I can't do it in full plank, and I will just do it with my knees down and very slowly and not do it as strenuous. There's thing about yoga, it's not competitive, and I think I get a tendency to compete with myself and wanting to go the whole way because I've done it previously. So it's a part of letting go of whatever happened in the past and just really focusing on your practice and how you are that day, how your body is feeling.
Exactly. And as you're practicing, your body's giving you present moment experience. We have we have a soul in a body, and a body that is living in time and space. And so when you experience sensation in the body, so whether that's your arms saying, okay, I can go this far and not so much further, that's present moment. That's right here and right now information that's available for your use. It's not judgment, it's not a limitation, it's information. And if we work through our practice that way, then it becomes so much more interesting. We've added dimension of right now, right here and right now. And that's true physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So as you are sitting for meditation, let's say in the later half of the Kundalini practice, and you find your mind moving around, then no, I'm distracted. I'm in elsewhere, and all again, good information. So great question. Thank you, Catherine, for asking. You helped us bridge that between body, mind, and spirit. So great question.
It's so interesting. If you find this is resonating with you, hit that like button. So Salima, since we have a few beginners that are watching on our channel, can you explain what Kundalini yoga is to them?
Yes, a great question, and love to all of you beginners. I was a beginner, Nori was a beginner at some point. And really what I'm hoping is that you feel a sense of sitting down, crossing your legs, closing your eyes, and feeling a sense of oneness. And that's really important, that something about who is sitting across from you on the screen is resonating and reflecting your experience of life. So that's what I would say first and foremost, is finding a teacher and a way to interact in a yogic practice is really part of the beauty of evolving, is finding a like-minded spirit. So that's number one. Kundalini yoga is the yoga of awareness. And so in that awareness, it is a building. So as I mentioned, I've been practicing now for 15 years, and every day is different, and I'm different every day. And what the practice offers is dimensions of that every day. So one day happy, one day sad, one day upset, it's okay. The next day it will change. So those are present moment realizations that then lead to a much more calm, collected way of moving into the future. So Kundalini Yoga uses a combination of mantra, and the very opening mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, I bow to the teacher within, sets the stage, it's the foundation. And then usually a little bit of breath work, either before or after, to bring in prana, to bring in energy. And that energy flow allows the chakras to become aligned. 8 energy centers within and around and through the body that are really allowing energy to flow. And so that as that energy flows, your awareness, your present moment awareness starts to grow. And in that growing of awareness, a sense of relaxation. So when we're moving in that very rhythmic way, you've seen Sufi grinds, inhaling as you come forward, exhaling as you go back, or even Sufi spinal flex, inhaling as you come forward, exhaling as you go back. These are all very rhythmic movements. And the rhythm, just like dance, is a way to cue the nervous system, okay, everything is okay. Relax, settle in, settle down, and move from fight and flight to rest and digest. And when you're in that mode of rest and digest, that's where the magic happens. That's when the new perceptions come in, where the new ideas come through, the creativity starts to pick up. You may feel a sense of euphoria, you may sense of peace and calm, even though nothing has really changed in your external world, your internal world has settled in for you. And then relaxation, which we've been tending to shorten in our online classes, but it's very important. And then the meditation at the end. I think of that as the dessert. So if you are eating a good meal and you pause and then you have your favorite dessert in front of you, that's the meditation, because all of that work, all of that breath work, the sound, the movements is there designed in order for you to really concentrate, focus your mind. And then we close. We close with a grounding. We close with an homage to the Mother Earth and to the sky above and all the elements. And we close with the truth. So that is Kundalini Yoga in a nutshell and how it's practiced. And every single one of us will have different sensations as you go along. So you, Nori, may see color. I may hear. You may feel a sense of floating. And all of that is, or tingling, that's totally normal. And it's normal, and you're normal, and the practice is normal. It's not dangerous. This is a big myth and a fallacy out there that there's some danger. Is there a danger in waking up and bringing awareness to what you're doing? Not going through the motions, but actually saying, am I really hungry, or am I just eating for the sake of eating? That's what we're talking about.
Yes, we've had this conversation for the past year, I'd say, about changing our language around spiritual experiences and calling them normal. And we would notice a lot of people in the studio or our yoga teachers in training would always preface their questions with, is this weird? Am I weird? Is this abnormal? So I think it's really important for us, people of the practice, whether you are a student or a teacher, to change the language and talk about, this is my experience and this is how I experienced it, without devaluing yourself or validating what happened to you, because everyone's experience is different. I've noticed with the Kundalini practice, some people see colors. I experience it as a flow. Like, I am very present. Nothing else really matters outside of whatever is happening on my mat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're right. We don't have the language for talking about spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And things that have not been taught mean we have to learn. And part of that learning is to explore and to come into language that is a little bit different. That's exactly why we're gathered here online today, is to find newer, maybe fresh perspective on how to talk about it. So I always, when someone says, "Is that weird?" I always catch it. Is it weird to smell a flower? Is it weird to have a sensation or to feel a tickling? Is it weird to see a beautiful sunset? No, these are things that we take as common, as matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, wouldn't it be an amazing shift for all of us to embrace our other senses with just the same kind of factuality? We have a skill called intuition, which is perceiving information, even though there isn't a visual to cue that or a sound to cue that, but we have a feeling. And that's valid. That's real. I just need to get there. And
It's very true. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So, coming to the awakening that I believe is happening to lots of people right now in our world, what is a Kundalini awakening in your own words?
Okay. Kundalini awakening. This is a very popular question, and it's almost like we go hunting for an experience. So I want to do some myth busting here, that this is not a one and done type of practice. You can download a lot of information. You can feel an incredible amount of clarity in one sitting. And that's usually what brings us back. I felt great. I want to do more. I felt great. I want to do more. I feel different. I want to do more. I want more of that difference. So that is there as a present experience. So the awakening is really about consciousness. So can you think about replacing this very fancy word Kundalini with the very powerful word of consciousness, of awakening and being more open to receive information and working with it in a neutral way rather than reacting to something, but rather being able to pause. And that's the consciousness. I'm upset. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to take a few breaths. And now I'm going to take a different approach. Maybe I'm just going to listen. Maybe I'm going to agree to disagree. Or maybe I'm going to ask for this conversation to resume at a different time. That's consciousness. That's the Kundalini rising within you.
So it is a practice. So it's not a one and done. I've done my Kriya. I have finished Kundalini. That's not how it works, right?
No, it's not how it works.
You rise it once and then you're done.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear from those of you who are listening to our conversation. What have you experienced in the practice of Kundalini yoga? What keeps you coming back? What is it that you want to learn more about? And what is it that you don't yet know?
We actually have a question here from Addie. You might know her. She's a part of our YTT program, and she's actually my sister. So, hello, Addie. Thank you so much for your question. She wants to know if you have experienced any sort of plateau or stagnancy in your Kundalini practice. And if so, how do you move past this to continue to grow? I think this is a really good one to talk about the practice aspects of Kundalini.
Mm-hmm. So being stagnant. The practice hasn't been stagnant, but I know that when I get into a place where I'm repeating the same patterns or there's a habit involved, then that's where the stagnancy is. It's not the practice, it's us, it's me. And so generally what I do is I'm looking for, in my numerology, so looking at my date of birth, assessing and analyzing what numbers are present, what cycle in the year I'm at, and knowing that I can pull that lever and choose a kriya and a meditation that are going to allow me to take the next step, that are going to shake up, to shift that perception, which is what we just talked about. So, the practice is not here to entertain us. It's not about entertainment. It is really about practice, which means you come back to the same video day after day after day after day. For some of us, that's a 40-day practice. Others, it'll turn into 90 days or 120 days or even 1,000 days. I've done meditations for 1,000 days. And those practices are really meant to shape your internal structure, shift your microglands, your pineal gland, your pituitary gland, the micro processing in your body, so that you can come with something different. And so the practice for me has never become boring or stagnant. I've become boring and stagnant. And that's when I use a different breath work, or I use a different meditation. That's when I shake it up, and then it shakes me. So it's a good friend. When you see a friend who's down and out, you pick them up. And that's what I would suggest, is that if you're feeling down and out, then shift your practice. It's not the other way around.
And Kundalini is a great friend. It's that friend that's going to be brutally honest with you.
Yeah, it's a hug and a shove at the same time. Like, okay, I understand, but let's get going.
Nudge you in the right direction.
Yes. And, I will say that you have to be careful with that, because for those of us who are type A, who are goal oriented and want to get things done and have a certain agenda to follow, then is it sort of like, okay, let's go. And I think it's important, as a reminder, as a teacher myself, as a practitioner myself, to say, okay, when the time is right, the right things are timed. And that's something we can't force. So I hope that brings you some comfort too. Not all practices and things are not, you're not going to force a change. We're going to welcome a change.
Ease into it, breathe through it. If this resonates, hit that like button. Let us know you like it. We'll do more of these. We're thinking once a month if the feedback is good. And speaking of practice and type A personalities, how do you balance your practice with a busy schedule? I know that you are an entrepreneur, you're an Amma. So how do you do it?
Well, this is a very practical type of practice. You can do a lot in 3 minutes. So where other practices have a starting spot of 20 minutes, or maybe even 2 hours in the day and the evening, Kundalini yoga is for householders. So fancy way of saying for people who are busy. And everybody has 3 minutes, myself included. I'm a mom, I have a business, I have a life, I have friends, I have family, and I can find 3 minutes. And so can you find 3 minutes. I had a teacher who once said, you can either do yoga or be unhappy. One of them has to go. So I have, even in my unhappy days, chosen yoga over the ease of unhappiness. It's easy to be miserable, Nori. You know that. It's easy to be miserable, to show up with, all of your whatever right there. And it's different to shift and to take on a practice that will build a foundation for better for you and for everyone around you.
Making a priority.
Yeah.
For yourself.
If you brush your teeth every day so that you're presentable, then you'll meditate for 3 minutes so that you're presentable.
Please meditate for the rest of us. Thank you.
I firmly believe that it's just as important as brushing your teeth or taking a shower or changing your drawers, whatever. All of those things is hygiene. This is mental hygiene.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's talked about. At least we weren't taught in school about our mental hygiene and taking care of our mental health and taking a moment to breathe and come back to neutral or get out of that state of fight or flight. And something that, well, at least I came to after a yoga practice, being your student, realizing that I need to breathe or I need to meditate. I need to get rid of the tension in my body, or else I don't show up the way that I want to show up. Even though I have this high expectation for myself, what comes back physically isn't what is in alignment with that.
And if you're tight in your body, you'll likely be tight in your heart and your thinking and your spirit. So each one is a pathway to the other.
Starts with the body.
That's one way.
Could be breath.
Definitely always breath. Exercise ever. Breathe.
Well, you can't just stop breathing. You can try. I dare you to. Okay, and have our last question of the day before we move into the 3 simple ways of how to rise or how to know your Kundalini is rising. What is the importance of shavasana?
That's the pause. That's the pause between a really good, satisfying meal and registering your delight at savoring that experience and then preparing for the next course. So a shavasana is translated loosely as a death, as a pause and a stillness that is beyond sleeping. So this is not a chance to take a nap, though that often happens because we're relaxed. It is really a system reset. We're cueing the body, okay, all tension, done. And giving a moment for all of the effects of the Kriya to take place in order for the mind and the spirit to be prepared for the meditation to follow. So it has a very, very important function. In the online world, it's not so easy to let the camera roll and spend 5 minutes in absolute quiet. So that is a limitation of teaching online. I hope you all understand that. And you can certainly pause a video, set a timer for 5 minutes, and then come back and then join us right at the meditation. So know that that's within your realm and it's your time and your practice. And if you're looking for it and need it, and I certainly hope you do take it, that's always within your range to do.
And you can take 10 minutes if you like. Just remember to set a timer if that's the case.
Yes. We've been recently hearing about yoga teachers who have been teaching online and taking the relaxation, like cueing it, coming into a relaxation, and then 20 minutes later, all their students are gone. So,
Yeah.
so I will not do that to you, and I won't do it to myself. And at the same time, you always have the flexibility to take that on.
Yes, it's your practice.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Salima, tell me, what are the ways to know that your Kundalini is rising?
Okay. So Nori, before we go there, let me say this, that we've got lots of different ways to explore. And one of the ways to do this, if you want to know more about your experience of Kundalini yoga and find a personalized practice, something just for you, then you can always reach out to us. We'll put my email address into the chat, love.yogavision@gmail.com. And that will come to me directly. It's a private email just to me. And that numerology session will explain this and plus much more for you, personalized. And then in the future, we're also working on, in September, we'll be launching our online Kundalini enrichment program. And that's coming up. So we have an opportunity to meet together in a small group format via Zoom, probably. And that will be an opportunity for us to do real time, real live conversation and some one-on-one training. So that's coming. Okay, so you stayed on till the end, and here's the bonus round. 3 simple ways to know that your Kundalini is rising. So first and foremost, this is not an exotic thing. Everybody has energy at the base of our spine that is waiting. It's waiting for an opportunity to make itself known to you. And okay, here's what happens. Your sense of intuition, your sense of, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that person was going to call me. I knew you were going to ask me. All of that is part of your first clue that your microsystems are processing better and that you're in a flow. So I refer to that as feeling alive. So there's a sense of connectivity. There's a sense of, oh, okay, all right, I'm here. There's an antenna on my head and I'm downloading information. This is cool. I like it. It's technology. Remember that. And the second one is awareness. So as I mentioned before, you have this awareness that when you're in conversation with somebody, that the other person's not at their best. And so, or I'm not at my best. And so now's not the time to engage. Now's not the time to go head to head. Now is the time to pause, breathe, and exercise some control. That's an example of awareness. And then finally, awake. Awake to our connectivity. Awake to whatever happens to you, Nori, happens to me. Whatever happens to Black lives all over the world happens to me. Whatever happens to proud lives all over the world happens to me. And until and unless we understand that and we wake up to the fact that there is oneness, the planet is breathing, is pausing right now, and we have an opportunity to rise up, to rise ourselves, rise up together, then we have a missed opportunity. But that's what I think this practice has been designed for this new time, this new era. It's called the Aquarian Age, an opportunity for the hierarchies, the patriarchies to fall down, and for something much more powerful, a collaborative, inclusive, loving community to come together worldwide. And I think right here and right now, we are a shining example.
Absolutely,
so
yes.
Alive, aware, and awake. Yes. Let's do that. 3 sniffs and a pow. This is a way of clearing energy and summoning the power of the universe. Let's do that together. If you're watching online, I'd love to have you follow along. So sitting up tall and straight, inhale, 3 sniffs through the nose. Now through the mouth. 3 sniffs. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let the energy settle. Let's do this.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Thank you, Catherine and Nat. Of course, to you, Scott. Hello again. Thank you, Addie. And thank you, Justin. Thank you guys for tuning in today. If we didn't get to your question, please go ahead and write them down in the comments below. We'll be sure to try to touch base on them next time. We'll be doing this about once a month if we have good feedback. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up so we know that you like it. Any parting words, Salima?
From my heart to yours, I'm so grateful that we have this online community. For those of you who don't know, we had a studio just outside of Toronto, Canada. And over the course of the last few months, as COVID has settled in and changed who we are and how we get together, we haven't had the chance to come back as a live community. In fact, I've made the decision to close the studio, given the health risks to the staff and also to the students potentially. And what gave me a lot of comfort is knowing that all of you are out here and that this practice is important to you and that what we're offering is important and that we are together in a very profound way, in a new way. And I'm excited to be with Nori and all the rest of the teachers on this channel to take this into a new dimension. So again, my deepest gratitude and thank you, Nori. You're starting your own YouTube channel. So
yes.
You are doing that. And if you could give us a little bit of info about that and send people over your way.
Sure. So my channel is a little bit similar to this type of talk that we just did today, where I talk a little bit deeper into the Kundalini practice, yogic principles, and I also lead meditations there. So I kind of have it a la carte that you can choose a meditation based on your current practice. The one that I uploaded recently was for prosperity. So if you need some extra money in your pocket, please check out my channel. I also have a new series about the chakras where I go a little bit deeper in practices that you can do to balance your chakras. So just the other day, I posted one about the root chakra, and I also have a video as an overview of all. So that's coming up soon. So it's in the description box if you would like to subscribe. And I've been practicing talking on camera for the past year or so, being one of your students. And it's a part of the yoga teacher training was to use your voice and to start teaching this practice to the greater public. And do you want to talk a little bit about yoga teacher training?
Yes. That this year we're offering it all 100% online. And so there's two pieces. One is Kundalini specific, and the other one is a full practice, full teacher training, 300 hours with a certification in meditation, Kundalini yoga, as well as Hatha yoga. So all of the foundational practices and more that you could possibly want to whet your appetite and to take your spiritual journey further, first for yourself and then for the community that you belong to. We'll be offering that starting in September, and from September onwards, we're gathering online to do that. And then all of the coursework is available via a portal as well. So lots of good stuff, good things that are coming, and great opportunity for all of us to gather. And thank you, Nori, and thank you everybody in the background who's been supporting this program. And we look forward to coming back together 1 month from now. In the meantime, watch out for more live videos. We have Kundalini Yin, Kundalini Restorative, Movement and Meditation, as well as Kundalini Flow. So lots of interesting stuff coming down the pipeline, and I hope you'll join us on a daily. Lots of love to you, and thank you again, Nori. Bye for now, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye. Mwah.